Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for a special virtual job fair with Union Health for the Terre Haute area and parts of Western Indiana. Got a number of good job openings, opportunities we're going to talk about this afternoon. Before we get started with that, however, we wanted to take a minute and recognize our Region 7, which covers that part of Western Indiana. And I'd like to introduce Lisa Lee, who's the Executive Director of the Western Indiana Workforce Development Board. Lisa?
Thank you, Dave. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone here today and thank you for participating in the Union Health Virtual Job Fair. I just have a quick few facts about Region 7 so you can kind of get to know us better. We have a very diverse economy, which helps us when there's economic ups and downs. We weather those very well with diversity. And as you can see, the healthcare social assistance sector actually is the third largest industry in our region. So they play an important part in our economy. And you can also, through the second bullet, see that currently the number of jobs in our region is 6% above the national average for an area our size. We have over 12,000 jobs in healthcare and social assistance. And even better than that, we are projecting in the next 5 years that we will have an 8.8% increase in jobs, which means that we'll have another 1,120 new jobs available to people by 2025. We also have 5 outstanding institutions of higher education in Region 7. You can see those listed on the slide. This provides a great opportunity to advance in your professional education while you're living and working here in Region 7. And we also, through these universities and colleges, we enjoy a great array of cultural events such as concerts, speaker series, convocation programs. So we enjoy a great quality of life here. And finally, just some fun facts. The Coca-Cola bottle was created in Terre Haute. Region 7 houses where Clabber Girl baking powder where it was formulated and where it's still produced. And Larry Bird attended ISU here in Region 7. So just a little bit of an oversight.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. And thank you for all the work that you and your team and your board have been doing, especially over the past few months, but all the time. You all do great work over in that part of the state. Before we move on into the meat of the program, just a couple of housekeeping items. First of all, I should have mentioned early on, but as far as audio, there are 2 options. There's computer audio, and also you can join by phone. Either one is fine, although computer audio sometimes provides a little bit of feedback. So if you are experiencing that, you might want to switch over to phone call, and you'll see that with the audio button. It should be in the upper right corner of your screen. Also, there's a question tool over there in that box. If you want to submit a text question during the course of the program, feel free to do so at any time, and you can do it as we're talking about the job opportunities, or you can wait until the end. We will address questions either as we're going along or at the end, so at any time is fine. And finally, wanted to mention that this program is being recorded. You should get an email in about 24 hours that'll have a link to the recording if you need to review any of the slides or any of the commentary. You're welcome to do that, and you'll have access to that recording for quite some time. So before we move on, I've got a couple of just quick polling questions that we're going to ask just to get a little bit better idea of the audience. I'll just take a few seconds for each one. So the first one here is, are you currently unemployed? Go ahead and give it just a few more seconds. like 82% yes, 18% no. Our next question, do you have experience in healthcare? Again, a simple yes or no question. Give it, again, just a few more seconds. Looks like we're right about 50, actually exactly 50% yes and 50% no on that one. And I think we have one more that we're going to do now. Are you, let's see, here we go. Are you able to work evening or night hours? Again, yes or no. About 10 more seconds. Okay, looks like 33% yes, 67% no on that one. I'll go ahead and close that out. Okay, well with that, we're going to get started with the program. We have 3 representatives from Union Health with us today. I'd like to introduce all 3 of them. We have Kelsey Matherly, who's an HR generalist. Yi Chu, who is go ahead and say hello, who's also HR generalist, MS.
Hello.
And we have Peg Hill, who is a healthcare recruiter. So I'm first going to let Peg go ahead and give a little introduction about Union Health, and then we'll get the program started.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And we wanted to say welcome. Thank you to each of you for joining us today. We really appreciate that. We wanted to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to Dave and Lisa and the entire wonderful team at the Indiana Department of Workforce Development and the Western Indiana Workforce Investment Board. Thank you so much. This team is so generously committed to helping our community members and employers. Our Indiana communities are so fortunate to have these resources tirelessly working on all of our behalf. So thank you all. Again, welcome. We very much appreciate having this platform to share with you some of the great opportunities available at Union Health. We appreciate your time and we want to thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, we wanted to share with you some information on Union Health. We are the largest employer in Vigo County with over 3,000 employees. Union Health is the largest health system between Indianapolis and St. Louis. We are so proud to have had the very first neonatal intensive care unit in the whole state of Indiana. As an independent, not-for-profit health system, Union Health has been committed to the health and wellness of everyone in the Wabash Valley for more than 125 years. Our mission is to provide the highest quality, compassionate health care to all. We encourage you to please type in any questions you may have as we go through this presentation today. And that may have been mentioned earlier, but we truly do encourage you to let us know any questions you may have. So I know David already introduced us all, so I'd like to turn it over to one of our senior recruitment experts at Union, one of our fantastic HR teammates, Yi Chu. She will begin our discussion on employment opportunities here at Union. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Peg.
Thank you, Peg, and my name is Yi. How are you all? And this is a little strange that I see myself, but I don't see any of you. So again, first of all, I wish everybody's are staying healthy and well out there. So, and thank you again for Work One to put this opportunity together for all of us and for you all to for us to be on, the virtual job fair with all of you. A little bit about myself. I've been with Union for 10 years, have been recruiting for positions for both the hospital side and the medical group side. So the two positions that I will be kind of talking a little bit about today to you all, the number one is the receptionist position and patient account rep with the Union Medical Group. As a lot of you probably know, Union UAP clinic in the past. So a little bit about the position. Think about it, you go into a doctor's office. When you go into the doctor's office, the first person you encounter with is the receptionist and patient account rep. So a little bit like typical day for this position is the receptionist will be checking patients in, verifying their information for their insurance, taking their copay payment, and also scheduling for appointment, relay the message back to the nurses, to the doctor, and also maybe reschedule your appointment, things like that. And then also within the department, the receptionist will be doing like taking the phone call, making copies, keeping up with the medical records, copying any information that's needed. So really good thing about the position at the medical group is they're Monday through Friday. There are no weekends, no holiday, and the hours typically is from 8 o'clock to 5 p.m. Sometimes could be a little bit over, depends on the patient load. So it's very family kind of a flexible and very just appealing. So some of the skills and experience we can preferably for this position, if you have a little bit of experience in healthcare. Earlier, I think with Dave's poll, we have about 50 and 50 of attendees have the healthcare experience. So that's very, very good. So if you have a little bit of medical terminology, or if you have some knowledge about ICD coding knowledge, or have worked in a doctor's office, that would be amazing. Computer skills are also very, very good because we use everything electronic. And also, if you have great phone skills and customer skills, we have a lot of applicants that I've been encountered with that had a lot of a customer service skill, like for example, bank or even at Walmart, because we know that customer skills is really a big must. A little bit about the benefits working at Union. Like Peg said, Union is the biggest employer in the Wabash Valley, is the biggest healthcare provider between Indianapolis and St. Louis. So we provide tons of benefits. We do tuition reimbursement. So if you're thinking about going back to school to get a degree, we definitely are there to support you. We also have the federal loan forgiveness. So some of you, if you're in school, have the student loan. We are the eligible federal employer that will help you with that also. And some of the on-site childcare facilities. So if you have little ones or have children that in the school, school age, we have that facility as well. So Davey, if I can go to my next position.
Before we do that, just wanted to throw out a question here, if you could. Can you describe or talk a little bit about the orientation process?
Sure. So orientation, as of right now, we are not hosting any live orientation, but once we start slowly back to the normal process, we will have a 2 days orientation to introduce a new hire to our organization, to learn about the culture, learn about the safety, learn about the policy procedure, also including gets you trained with the IT, so like how to use our different computer system and the benefit enrollment. So it's a 2 full days orientation. Now with specific position, you will also have additional training, for example, to learn our electronic medical record system, and additional training too. But just for everybody in the whole, it's a 2 full days training. Does that help?
Okay. Yes, thank you. We'll move on to number 2.
Okay, another major position I recruit for the clinic area are the certified medical assistant, as a lot of you know, as a CMA. So the CMA, again, think about you going to a doctor's office, the clinical staff will come out to you, take you in, take you vital, take you weight, take your blood pressure, kind of going through some of the medical history with you, and also kind of checking with you what is a reason that you come into the doctor's office, and they kind of insert into the medical record system and share that information with the doctors. Also, CMA will help some of the doctors to prepare for exam or procedures, simple procedures, and also call for prescription for you. And it also can be triaged too. We also have CMA position in the call center at some time, and they will also, talking to the patients over the phone, triage the patients, and kind of help them to getting appointments set up. In order to become a CMA or be eligible to apply for the CMA position, you have to be graduated from accredited institution that offering the CMA program, and also certified by CMA. So you can have a CMA certification or RMA, which is the Registered Medical Assistant, or CCMA, which is the Certified Clinical Medical Assistant. All three certification, we will all accept that as long as you graduated from an accredited agency or education institute. So feel free to reach out to me just to double check on your institution. And also we require you to have a BLS, which is a basic life support level of CPR to be able to perform as a CMA. Same benefits. Again, once you become a union employee, you find out a lot more benefits that you can have as an employee. So, Dave, any questions from maybe the attendees about the CMA positions?
Yeah, how about if you could talk a little bit about how long of a process is it from the time you submit your application to you getting notified?
Sure, absolutely. So I check my my application tracking system daily, and sometimes it's hourly. Once I get to the job, I look at all the new application come in. By looking at the application, look at the eligibility, looking at the experience, and I push forward your application to the manager. Now, I can guarantee you during the work week, if you apply today and then your application meets all the criteria, I forward to the manager right away. Now, it might take us about 1 or 2 days for a manager to respond because of their workload. So I would say if you don't hear anything back from the recruiter in 2 days, please reach out to me. I'm pretty sure my information is on the online posting. You can reach out to me by phone. If you don't know my direct line, you can always call Union Health, call the HR, and then just ask to speak with me. Again, my name is Yi Chu. So once I hear from you, I can always either text you or email you to give you any updates, but feel free to reach out to me.
And what about safety? There's been a lot of focus on safety here recently. Could you talk about any new safety precautions or procedures that you've implemented?
With the interviewing, yes. So we, myself personally, I have conducted lots of my interviews over the phone right now, but we are giving the options to the hiring managers to either do interviews over the phone, or if they prefer to do in person, because sometimes it's very crucial and essential for the manager to really kind of talk to the applicants, to sometimes can get a little bit more from talking to the applicant in person. Now, we do recommend them to use a large conference room and of course to practice the 6 feet apart social distancing. And then if you are going to meet with a manager at the clinic, we ask you to bring a mask, or we will provide you with a mask.
Okay. Well, good. Thank you.
Okay.
We ready to move on?
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody. And then I will introduce Kelsey.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Just like my coworker said, I hope everyone is staying safe. You're staying healthy. And one second, I think we're having technical difficulties on our end. Okay, there we go. All right. Hopefully no more of that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my positions. I have been at Union almost 3 years now, and I absolutely love it. There's so many opportunities for our employees to try new things and to learn a lot from our managers and just other staff. So the first one I'm going to talk about is patient care tech. with the patient care tech. So they are in the hospital setting. They will assist nurses, doctors on the patient floors. They are the ones who will take your vital signs. They answer call lights throughout their shifts. So if you need water or if you need just any questions you might have about medications, they're the ones who will answer those call lights and either be able to, get you what you need, or they will find somebody to help you. Patient care techs, just depending on the department that they're at, they can assist with IVs, so taking IVs out, and other special procedures. Again, just depending on the department, that would give them that training. And then also they do assist with patient discharges, and they can also assist families or patients with trying to find resources to get the information that they need for their care. Some of the big things with patient care tech, you do have to be certified as a certified nursing assistant or a CNA in the state of Indiana. We also do accept RN students who have completed a nursing clinical and, of course, an accredited school. You do have to be certified, again, just like a CMA in the BLS CPR level. And then also be able to lift or pull or bend up to 50 pounds or more. And of course, customer service, and our managers really do look for people in this role to be compassionate, caring, because you are taking care of the patients directly. Benefits are pretty much the same. A PCT can enroll their child into the Child Development Center. They are eligible for paid time off. That does accrue. Patient care techs, they do have to work some weekends. It is not every weekend. They do have a self-service or a self-scheduling service. So the managers will review the schedule, but the the patient care techs, they can schedule themselves. But depending on the department, they do have to work some weekends. Are there any questions for a patient care tech?
I do have a question before we move on. What about help or assistance getting degrees, both high school or college? How does that work, if so? And also, what about certifications? Is there assistance in helping folks get certifications as well?
Of course. So our employees, they are eligible for tuition assistance. We will give that information out to the employees. I believe it's around October usually, where we send out an email. The employees would fill out a form, and HR reviews that form to help with classes, and just kind of going over what kind of classes and what their degree type is. If they're not an employee with Patient Care Tech, we do work very closely with with a school here in Terre Haute that does offer the CNA class. So we do offer tuition reimbursement through there. And then we do offer GED classes, assistance with GED classes throughout the year. So.
Okay, good. Sounds like there's a lot of opportunities there for education.
Dave, this is E. I want to just tag on a little bit about the GED program.
Okay.
I believe it's our second year. The union has a partnership with the Vigo County School Corporation and provide a free GED class to all our employees and also our employees' family members. So we have been getting a lot of really positive feedback. We have a lot of employees from some of the entry-level position receive their GED. So the teachers from the school corporation, they're using one of our location in the building and helping the employee to get a GED. So been very good positive feedback. So thank you.
Nice. Yeah. Thanks for adding that.
All right.
Okay. We have I think one more employment opportunity we're going to move on to.
Yeah, so the last position I'm going to talk about is housekeeper. Housekeeper, they are within the hospital system, both here in Terre Haute as well as Clinton Hospital. A housekeeper, they will go to all the different departments. Again, just depending on what area they might be assigned to that day, they will receive the special training. If they have to like clean something a little bit different, special chemicals, they do get that training. But a housekeeper, their main duty, they work in teams. They'll go onto the floors. They make patient rooms. They'll sweep with the vacuums, the patient rooms, and just getting the room ready for when a patient discharges. And when a new patient's on their way, they'll get that room ready, get it sanitized. And just keeping the hallways and the building itself clean and presentable for patients, for visitors, for families. With housekeeper, some of the things that the managers do look for, they do look for previous cleaning experience, but again, we do train you on the proper chemicals to use, proper procedures to handle spills. We'll give you that training, of course. But just again, customer service, compassionate care, because you will have interactions with patients. You do not give patient care, but of course, if a patient's asking for a nurse, you are able to help them get a hold of their nurse. And just the same thing with the benefits again, paid time off. Housekeeper, they do work some weekends, but again, that's not every weekend. The manager, they do like to try and spread that out, that everyone has a weekend off.
Okay, yeah, let me throw out another question, and then out of all the positions we've talked about, which would be the best to apply for with no experience?
With no experience, it's kind of hard. Of course, housekeeper, like I said, we always do prefer if you had previous cleaning experience, such as maybe you cleaned one of the local colleges, you've cleaned maybe in a nursing home setting, but of course, with housekeeping, we do accept people who don't have previous experience, and we'll teach them, we'll train them. They're paired up with a mentor, so that mentor will stay with them. And like I said earlier, they do work with the team, so even if you do have a question when you're not on your training, you can still ask your team that question, and they can help you.
Okay.
Then I think one thing to add really quick.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for all the great questions, and keep them coming if anybody else has questions. One thing I did want to add on to, if you don't mind, is the question about certifications. And if patient care technician or certified medical assistant, if any position like that is interesting to you and you'd like to hear more about the training to become certified and the education, I think we would all strongly encourage you to please check out our wonderful local resources here in Terre Haute. IB Tech in Terre Haute, I think E had mentioned, we do have a partnership with a CNA certification location here in Terre Haute. So if you think you're interested in any of that, and I would encourage you to see what's available at IB Tech. And there's all sorts of different programs available. And if something does seem of interest to you, and so many of their programs are immediately employable, and we completely depend on their graduates for so many different roles here at the hospital and throughout our health system. But once you do see something that you're interested in, please contact their financial assistance resources and talk to them about what assistance they do have for you. And you truly may be surprised at all the assistance that they have available for you. And this would be to help you become eligible for some of those positions here and throughout the Wabash Valley that do require those certifications or those licenses. So thank you for letting me add that.
Good, thank you. That's a lot of good information there. So if I'm interested, what do I do? How do I apply? What's the next steps?
Of course. If you'll go to the next slide. So at the very bottom there, I do believe that link is connected to our website. So you can click on myunionhealth.org, and at the very top of our page, you will see a search jobs tab. There you can either search for one of these 4 jobs that you saw today, or you are able to look at all the jobs that we have on our website. You can narrow down by maybe a specific, like says, a certain job that you are interested in, shift, status, full-time, part-time. There are multiple ways to narrow that down, or if you don't know, you can just look and read all the job descriptions on there. As E said, I also check my application tracking system daily, sometimes hourly. And as soon as I get a new application, I do read it. If it meets the qualifications of the job, if the manager has listed some, like a CNA, if you do have your CNA, I will forward over to the manager. And again, just give our managers a day or two just to review your application. They might be busy with patients, and then we will reach out to you to set up an interview.
All right. And Dave, I want to also add a couple of things. Last
Sure.
2 months, the HR department, all the HR generalists, we got together and we kind of re-evaluate the application site. Wanted to make it friendly for the applicants to apply. So you can actually apply through our mobile, very mobile friendly. And also we have taken out some of the questions to make the application process a lot shorter and friendlier for you. So like I said, once you apply, all the applicants should receive an email that the HR department has received the application. So if you just want to check on the status, you can always call and let us know, hey, I got this email notification that my application has been received. Can you tell me some of the status? So if you don't receive that notification email, sometimes could mean your application did not go through. So just want to throw that out there.
Okay, good. And that's convenient with the mobile application, and shorter and friendlier is always better, I'm sure, for most people. A question we get a lot is if you've already applied for a job at Union Health, and it was some time ago, should you apply again? Talk about that a little bit.
Yes, of course. So like you said, we have redesigned our application so it is shorter. We did make it a little bit more friendly for our applicants. But if you have applied in the past, the system should remember, if you've done it pretty recent, it should remember what you've submitted, but always put in a new application for positions. Again, you will just click on that link, whatever position you want, and you can upload your resume. So that's a new feature that we're pretty excited about. We're just going to continue to keep updating it, keep making it more friendly. But yes, if you have applied in the past, the system should remember it, but if not, go ahead and submit a new application just for whatever position you want.
Okay, good. We'll conclude the program here shortly, but I wanted to add a couple extra minutes if there are any other questions. I don't have any in the queue right now, but we'll leave this up for a few minutes. But again, I want to thank Kelsey, E, and Peg for being with us today. Do any of you have any closing thoughts or comments before we conclude?
Again, thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Work One for setting this up. If you think of questions later, the previous slide before has mine and E's email address, so please reach out to us. You can always call Human Resources and speak with one of us. But we look forward to receiving your applications, and everyone please stay safe and healthy.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again. And Lisa, if you're still with us, just wondered if you had any final thoughts. We are going to be having a couple of other job fairs as well for your region coming up next week and the following week, but any closing or final thoughts from you?
Well, I would just like to really encourage folks that are interested in these jobs to apply for positions in Union Health. Union Health is a premier employer of the Wabash Valley. As you can tell by the presenters, they have outstanding, friendly staff. They're great contributors to the community. And they win. They're modest, but they win many awards, both professionally, and I believe they just won an award as one of the best places to work. I think that's correct.
Yes, And we've
Okay.
also won a couple years ago. We're one of 20 hospitals, I believe nationwide, for the advisory board, which always where we measure employees' engagement. So we're very excited that we were a winner a couple years ago of that.
So look into it. This would be a great place to start and build a career. I can't emphasize that enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good. Thanks again to all. And before we conclude, I have one final polling question.
Of course.
And this is, what type of position, of the ones we talked about today, what type of position are you most interested in? So if you could just take a few seconds to give us your responses on that, we would appreciate it. Give it about 10 more seconds. Okay, so it looks like most are interested in the receptionist, patient account rep, some in the patient care technician positions that we talked about. All right. Well, with that, again, want to thank our friends from Union Health for being with us today, and also the folks from Region 7 and the Western Indiana Workforce Development Board. Appreciate all the work you're doing, and good luck to everyone who participated today. Stay safe and have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.